Hey everyone, how are you? We're back for the super late show. It's very late. How are you all? Good to see you. I want to show you a story out of Australia, if I can find it. Hold on. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Okay, so there's a trial on down here that just ended in a second hung jury. I mean, you can't believe it. It happens so much, unfortunately, to especially women victims. They tend to have their juries hung. So it says here, second jury. Hang on, let me get the camera on. Hey, good to see you all. Hey, good to see you. It says a second jury can't reach conviction in bathtub murder trial with jurors distressed. I don't know if I've ever heard of jurors being distressed before. It says jurors have once again been unable to reach a verdict in the trial of a man charged with murdering his girlfriend and leaving her body in a bathtub for 8 months. Andrew Baker has been on trial in the Victorian Supreme Court for the past 5 weeks, accused of killing Sarah Gatt in or around April 2017 in Melbourne. He has pleaded not guilty, arguing the case against him is only circumstantial and the prosecution cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he killed Gatt. There's a photo of 40-year-old Sarah. She is the victim in this case. After almost 4 days of deliberations, 4 days, that's a long deliberation period for a jury. Jurors today told Justin Jane Dixon they were unable to reach a unanimous verdict. They noted they had been experiencing distress during their discussions. The jury was discharged with Justice Dixon, thanking them for their service to the community and wishing them well. It was alleged that Baker and Gatt were in an on and off again relationship for about 2.5 years before her death. The relationship was allegedly marred by physical and verbal violence, with Baker previously threatening to kill Gatt. In the months before her death, Gatt started a relationship with another woman, Leona Ray Packer, which was allegedly tumultuous. Gatt was with Ray Packer at a Maribyrnong property in the early hours of April 19, 2017, but Gatt was not seen alive again once she left the house. Instead, her body was found in a bathtub at her Kensington home in January 2018. Her pants and underwear had been pulled down to below her knees, and electrical cords were wrapped under and around her body. Gatt's blood was also found on a wall in the hallway. Forensic pathologists were unable to identify what caused Gatt's death because of her advanced state of decomposition when she was found. Baker was charged with her murder, but he has always denied the charge. He was today remanded in custody ahead of a mentioning hearing in April. Baker first faced a trial in the Victorian Supreme Court in March 2023, but the jury was also unable to reach a unanimous verdict. Yeah, so he actually went to this house where Sarah was and kicked the door in at one point and found her dead body, but for months did not report that he had found her deceased in the bathtub. I mean, there's something not right in this story. Even if you didn't love her anymore, or even if you were broken up, how can you leave someone in a bathtub for many months after knowing they're not alive and people are worried about them? I don't understand this, and it must be a very difficult case for the jury because they don't have any direct evidence that he killed her, only circumstantial. And this is the second trial to now go on and get a hung jury. They may not get another for Sarah Gatt. She may not get any justice for whoever killed her. It may not happen. I don't think they ever try for a third unless there's some sort of spectacular evidence that they can bring to trial to get a verdict. I just don't think they'll go through with a third trial. He'll probably be released unless there's other charges they would like him to face. Very brutal. I mean, let's see if we can find some better details here. Here. Sarah Gatt death, jury unable to reach verdict in trial of boyfriend and
If it doesn't fit,
oops. And it says here the trial of a Melbourne tattooist accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend has been aborted after a jury indicated they were unable to reach a verdict. So apparently a few days ago, they actually sent in a note to the judge saying that they were having troubles getting to a verdict. The judge asked them to go back and discuss further. They did for a few more days, and now they're saying they were experiencing distress during the deliberations. I've never heard that in a verdict, in a deliberation, that the jury is distressed in discussions about the verdict. That must mean there must be some very strong arguments on each side to the point where people are getting very upset because they feel like they're not being listened to, or they just are at their wits' end. They just can't find common ground and they can't find a verdict one way or the other. And it says here for the past month, Andrew Baker has been facing trial in Victoria's Supreme Court after pleading not guilty to killing Sarah Gatt in about April 2017. On Tuesday, he returned before the court as the jury delivered a note saying they believed they were unlikely to reach a unanimous verdict without further distress. It says, "We believe we could discuss further, but that will not assist." The note came down after the jury wrote on Monday to say they were in deadlock, but were told to persevere in their deliberations by Justice Jane Dixon. This time, however, Justice Dixon said she had no choice but to discharge the jury and thank them for their efforts. In spite of the results, I want to acknowledge on behalf of the community the efforts you've made. It says here, the aborted trial marks the second time a jury has been unable to reach a unanimous verdict. A jury was also discharged for similar reasons in March last year. The remains of Miss Gatt, a 39-year-old mother, were found under a blanket and household goods by police after they conducted a welfare check in January 2018. Due to the extensive decomposition, no cause of death could be determined during her autopsy. Over the course of the trial, prosecutors led by Jeremy McWilliams argued that Miss Gatt died during a violent altercation with Mr. Baker after ending their relationship in April the year prior. The pair had been on again and off again, with Mr. Baker troubled by her romantic involvement with another woman. This love triangle was resolved by murdering Miss Gatt in her homes, he said. In his own words, Mr. Baker hated that Kiwi B word. She was trying to turn his girl into a lesbian and stole her away from him. He told the jury that shortly after April 23rd, when police believed Miss Gatt died, Mr. Baker allegedly began telling friends lies unprompted about her whereabouts, claiming she was locked up in a rehab or a psych ward. The only reason you would set about that course of conduct was to conceal the fact that Miss Gatt was dead and to conceal his responsibility. That was the prosecution. Mr. Baker's barrister, John Saunders, suggested a different hypothesis, that his client was embarrassed to admit that his girlfriend had left him for another woman. He told the court that his client had stopped contacting Miss Gatt in April, not because he killed her, but because he'd realized he'd lost her. In his closing address, Mr. Saunders said if the jury was satisfied Miss Gatt had been killed, how could they execute the reasonable hypothesis that Miss Ray Paku was involved because she was the last person to admit seeing her? She is not accused of any wrongdoing, apparently. The jury was told Mr. Baker had confirmed to police that he had discovered the body months earlier before they did, but did not report it. He said, "I didn't do it. It was already there when I turned up. You want me to put my hand up? I'm telling you the truth. She was dead when I kicked the door in." Mr. Saunders told the jury they might find this shocking, but cautioned them to put away preconceptions about how normal people behave. He said, "I'm not asking you to like Andrew Baker." He told the jury there was a complete lack of evidence about how Miss Gatt died, questioning how could they rule out misadventure, a medical issue, or drug overdose. Without any evidence to prove her death was a murder, he said prosecution had asked the jury to draw inferences on his strange behaviors and suggested alternate explanations such as fear he would be blamed. All the Crown seems to come up with is that she must have died in a violent episode. Our submission is that you don't convict someone on the basis of something as flimsy as that. And the jury basically chose not to. They are not going to. It's another hung jury. Really, really brutal case. I don't think she'll ever see justice. I really don't. Hey guys, how are you? Robbie T, Marilyn Landis, Beth B, JDR, how are you guys? Good to have you. No evidence. There is no evidence. Laura G, love lighthouses. Yep, eight months in the bath, left in the bathtub. Yeah, the Crown had put forward a very flimsy case. Uh, they just tied it together, saying that he was mad that she had broken up with him. So, because they'd had violence in their relationship, then it must have been him, and that he was the only one who would hurt her. So, I, yeah. Apparently, they did do their forensic work on the house and her, but couldn't find anything that would implicate anyone. It really should never have been brought to trial, not without better evidence. And they've wasted two 2 years in court, both to get two of the same result, hung jury. So, a waste of millions of taxpayers' dollars and stress to Miss Gatt's family on belief that they may see a verdict or justice for their daughter or their niece or cousin, whatever family member, and they're not going to get it. And the state has to take responsibility for that. They're the one who brought the case. They're the ones who charged him, and they weren't able to back up their their charges. I mean, it's very possible that he is the one who killed her, but without better evidence, what can the jury do? They can't just convict someone because you want them to, and that's a shame. It really is. That means her memory forever may be tarnished because they'll never see justice for her. It's a very sad case. JDR says 8 months in a bathtub. Yes, 8 months. 8 months sitting there. No one found her earlier. I read about this case for a few years, and there was some other stuff, I wish I could find it actually, about people had actually visited that home while she was dead. They reckon there was people who went into that home. Let me see if I can find it. No. Let me see if it's here somewhere. Yeah, this is an older link from the trial last year. It says man accused of killing Sarah Gatt and leaving her in a bathtub was jealous and angry, prosecutors tell the Supreme Court. It says a Melbourne man who was jealous of his girlfriend's relationship with another woman killed her and left her body to rot in a bathtub for months, prosecutors have told the Supreme Court. Andrew Baker, 55, is on trial for the murder of Sarah Gatt, whose body was discovered by police in January 2018, about 8 months after she was allegedly killed inside her home in Kensington, in the city's inner northwest. But let me see if I can find anything we don't know. Her clothing being partially removed and down near her knees is interesting. That says to me like sexual assault, or possibly the R word, that she was possibly attacked before her death. Police were not able to identify a cause of death or noticeable injuries, but found Miss Gatt's blood in various parts of the house in Lambeth Street in Kensington. They said after the alleged killing in mid-April 2017, prosecutors allege Mr. Baker explained Miss Gatt's absence by telling friends she was away in a rehab facility. To keep up the impression she was still alive, Mr. Baker was accused of writing love letters and sending text messages to a phone number that he pretended was hers. In mid-August 2017, Mr. Baker took friends and Miss Ray Paku to the home and showed them a foot sticking out of the bathtub. There you go. I knew they had been in the home. None of the people who saw the remains made a report to the police. Mr. Dickey said the accused collected Miss Gatt Centrelink payments for months after her death, but also said Miss Ray Paku had also tried to claim the money 3 weeks after she last saw Miss Gatt. Defense barrister John Saunders described the prosecution case as circumstantial, saying there was no direct proof that his client killed Miss Gatt. He said while Mr. Baker had shown people a body in the bathtub, he argued the jury could not find beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Baker was responsible. He said there was a possibility someone else killed Miss Gatt or she had died in an accident. Yeah, I mean, the fact that her girlfriend at the time tried to claim her, um, Social Security payment only a few weeks after last seeing her, that's very suspicious. And, yeah, that's in but it seems like both of them did. Her ex-boyfriend and her current girlfriend both claimed, Social Security payments on her behalf. She probably did. She probably wanted both of them. No decomp smell? There probably was. That's a long time it is. It very much is. Um, it just seems like such a case where there's people involved and you could point the finger at a few different people, but there's no direct evidence to convict any of them. And that's the issue. The police were unable to find a smoking gun, like a something that would really tie it to one person. Him writing text messages and love letters to her is not a smoking gun. He could have been doing that because he desperately wanted her back, and you can't prove it one way or the other. And that's I don't even consider that good evidence by the police. It's you know, not great. Would have been better if they had something to say he was in that property when she died or his DNA, blood from him somewhere in the house, but he lived in that property for a period of time when they were together. So he could explain that away too. He could say, "Oh, I cut myself and I lived here and it got on the walls. I didn't even know." Yeah, a very sad case. We'll find out what happens in a few weeks' time when they come back for a mention hearing, and we'll see what the future holds for Sarah Gatt and her family. Will they ever see justice in Australia? Will they ever know who killed their daughter? I, it's possible they never will. It's possible this case will go to, um, they just won't try it ever again. I mean, how could you if you've already spent 7 years combing through the evidence and you have everything you think you can find? What do you think another 10 years is really gonna do? And that house has already been, completely ripped apart, and I think it's been remodeled since her death. It might have even been torn down, I can't remember. I know it was supposed to be remodeled because of how bad it was when they found her, but it may have been knocked down as well. I'm just not sure. Hold on. So any evidence that may have been there is probably gone. Yes, I can't find it. Can't find if it is there or not. Let me see if I can find an overview for some of the other evidence for you. Let's see. Here, there's an old video from Victoria Police about when Sarah was found. Here, I can show it to you. It's very close to when they marched. Yeah, not long after they found her in January.
Good morning, everyone. Homicide Squad detectives are today appealing for information relating to the death of Sarah Gatt. Sarah's family are here with us today to help us appeal for information. Sarah was located deceased in her bathtub in a Lambert Street unit, Kensington, on the 3rd of January of this year. Police had attended the property for an unrelated matter and entered the property and found her body. Investigation has established that the 40-year-old had died at some time between the 20th and the 24th of April of last year. Forensic evidence indicates that a violent assault took place in that property. Investigators also believe that a body was deliberately concealed at the address and conscious steps were taken to imply that she was still alive and had not died. 3 men and 2 women have been interviewed in relation to Sarah's death and released pending further inquiries. Those 5 persons remain persons of interest in the investigation at this time. Sarah had 4 children, however, none of them were living with her at the time of her death. Detectives are particularly keen to speak to.
I don't know if you heard that, but they just mentioned that Sarah had 4 children. While they didn't live with her at the time, they'll always have to live with the knowledge that someone did that to their mum when they grow up.
Coming or going from the Lambert Street property after the 20th of April 2017. We'd also like to speak to anybody who has given information or has been given information by anyone indicating that Sarah was still alive after that date, the 20th, 24th of April 2017. The key to solving this case. If we accept that Sarah died sometime between April 20 and 24, and the offenders made conscious efforts to imply that Sarah was still alive after this date, it's forensically probative if investigators can establish that any of those offenders have told any person or relayed any information to any person that Sarah was still alive after that date. If this can be established, the telling of the story that Sarah is still alive, one might imply that those actions are a consciousness of guilt to murder. So again, police wish to hear from any person that knew of Sarah's movements in April 2017, or particularly, and more importantly, was told or given any information by any person who suggested that Sarah was alive after the 20th to the 24th of April 2017. We would urge anyone with information about Sarah's death or her movements around the time of her death to contact Crime Stoppers.
The problem with that, though, is they're asking for anyone who was told that Sarah was alive or I saw Sarah. The only way that that would make any sense evidentiary wise is if they said, I saw her last week. I was with her 2 days ago. But not if you're just like, oh yeah, Sarah, yeah, yeah, she's over blah blah. Oh, isn't she doing that? That won't work. It needs to be someone deliberately saying things like, "Oh, I just hung out with her. I'll get her to contact you. Yeah, she always talks to me." Something like that. But I don't think they ever found anything. This was only a couple of months after they found her body in January 2018. Now, fast forward 7 years in the future, and 2 hung juries, and her poor parents here that you can see on this video will never get to see anything resembling justice for their daughter. It's a really sad case. Potter says it reminds me of the Antonia Tatchell case. We never heard a resolution for that. Unfortunately, every now and then it does happen. I actually thought the Jared Hayne trial may have had that happen, and it didn't. He got like the third trial that got him on something, and then I thought the swimming coach who was accused of touching the little girls while being the swimming coach might have got off and then been retried again for a third time and then got off again. But I think I think, did they get him on 1 or 2 charges? I can't remember. I don't think it was a complete failure of a jury, but it was close. They almost, basically said they couldn't come to any conclusion whether the the accusations were correct or not. So, it unfortunately, it does happen. Yeah. I wanna see, are her parents still alive? Let's see. Let's see here. It says here, accused killer love letter to ex. The contents of love letters believed to have been sent from by a man before he allegedly killed his on-again and off-again girlfriend have been aired in court. Let's see if they tell us about them. On Monday, the jury heard from a number of police officers who had dealings with the mother of two before her death and took statements of alleged violence at the hands of Mr. Baker and her other lover, Leona Ray Packer. Senior Constable Matthew Taylor told the court Miss Gatt was erratic and well known at the Melbourne North Police Station when she attended in December 2015. He said he took her statement as she reported allegations Mr. Baker had slapped and punched her after showing up at her home unannounced, hoping to reconcile. There's a photo of Andrew Baker. She said, he then grabbed me and tried to restrain me. He said we need to talk. I said, there's nothing to talk about. You can never convince me things are going to be different. According to Miss Gatt, Mr. Baker allegedly responded, you're dead this time. There will be no warning. Constable Taylor said Miss Gatt also provided 3 letters she claimed were written by Mr. Baker and sent to her home that same month. Read to the court, the sprawling handwriting letters repeatedly request they reconcile, accuse Miss Gatt of being a junkie and using him, and contain apologies for what I've done. It said, I wanted to marry you. I think we were happy at one stage. We been together. There's a photo of Miss Gatt. And then he said further on, all you do is lie and BS about me to everyone. I don't know why I fell so in love with you. I know you hate me. I don't care. I'm very sorry for what I've done. I still love you. P.S. I have changed big time. That's a very, you know, topsy-turvy of emotions, accusing her of lying and BSing everyone, and then saying, I know you hate me, I don't care. And then he says, I'm sorry for what I've done, I still love you. So he loves her, but he hates that she does all this. It's very bipolar. It's very up and down. And then he's saying, I wanted to marry you. I think we were happy at one stage we've been together. It's very, yeah, bipolar-ish. Says here, prosecutors allege Mr. Baker killed Miss Gatt in a violent altercation at her Flemington home sometime between April 19th and May 4th, 2017. It is alleged the pair reconciled in late 2016, but by April 2017 they had split again. Her remains were discovered about 8 months later, hidden underneath household items in the upstairs bathtub during a welfare check in January the following year. It says in his opening address to the jury, Crown Prosecutor Jeremy McWilliams alleged Mr. Baker's actions in the month following led to obvious conclusions he knew she was dead. He was telling those he knew she was in psychiatric care or rehab in order to throw off any suspicion. Plainly, that was not the case. And then it just says, they couldn't find any evidence of what happened to her. And then they said they also questioned whether the evidence would point to Miss Ray Packer as a possible suspect. Miss Ray Packer has not been charged with any wrongdoing. So there you go. What a sad case for Sarah and her family. I thought I'd bring that to you because that hung jury just happened a couple of hours ago. They discharged that jury and they are gone. That's it. You'll get a mention in about a month and then they'll give directions to the prosecution on what they have to do next. Discharge the entire case, or I don't know, appeal. They could appeal. The prosecution could try and appeal and see if they can get another. Well, not appeal, but they can show more evidence or something and try to get another trial. But you're going to go for a third trial when you already had 2 hung. I don't think it's a good idea. I think you're just going to waste citizens' time. You're going to waste the family's time. And yeah, that's it. Okay, there's that one. What we're going to do next? Riley. Let's talk about Mr. Strain for a second. Oh, that's very interesting. My friend April. Hey, April. I hope you're listening. Did you change your name on Twitter? That's not been your search handle, was it, my friend? Didn't you used to have a different search handle? I mean, like Twitter handle? Did you change it? Uh, she says here something about Elijah Vu. Ah, this is interesting. Blanket found in Manitowoc County confirmed to be Elijah Vu's as search for him continues. The Two Rivers Police Department has released some significant information regarding the search for missing 3-year-old Elijah Vu. Police Chief Ben Minett said Elijah Vu still has not been found, but a red and white plaid blanket was located on Goodwin Road east of County Road B in Manitowoc County earlier in the investigation? Wait. They said it was but a red and white plaid blanket was located on Goodwood Road east of Country Road B in Manitowoc County earlier in the investigation. So they've had this blanket for a period of time. Huh. Minute said that on Monday they confirmed the blanket was Elijah Vu's blanket. The blanket was located 3.7 miles from the 3900 block of Mishicot Road in the city of Two Rivers, where Elijah was reported missing on February 20. We continue to request the public's assistance in checking all urban and rural areas, including water, to find Elijah and locate any evidence related to his disappearance. Hmm. Let's watch the little video.
Update in the search for missing 3-year-old Elijah Vu. Two Rivers police confirmed they have found the red and white plaid blanket he was last seen with. Two Rivers police chief says the blanket was located on Goodwin Road near County Road B in Manitowoc County. That's about 3.5 miles away from where Elijah went missing in Two Rivers. This is the first major clue of where Elijah may have gone that police have released. A $40,000 reward is being offered for more information on Elijah's whereabouts. And the search from Two Rivers is now stretching into weeks since he was first reported missing on February 20th. Over the weekend, a vigil was held in honor of Elijah Vu at Walsh Field in Two Rivers. Bubbles blew all around, creating a childlike atmosphere, and each person took home a bag with a little candle to put out on their porch to lead Elijah home. Many even wrote encouraging messages on big signs. All of this to show continued support for bringing the missing 3-year-old home safe. Elijah's mother, Katrina Bauer, and her boyfriend, Jesse Bang, are currently in custody in Manitowoc on charges of child neglect related to the missing 3-year-old. Neither have been entered pleas in their cases, but are expected back in court later this week for more proceedings. Court documents show that Bang told police he was acting as the little boy's caregiver at the time of his disappearance. And we are year-old was last seen when Elijah was living at the time, and year-old Elijah Vu. Two Rivers police say they have found the red and white plaid blanket that he was last seen with. Two Rivers police chief says the blanket was located about 3.5 miles away from where Elijah was living at the time and where he went missing. It's the apartment building on Mishicot Road where Elijah was staying with Jesse Bang. This is the first major clue of where Elijah may have gone that police have released so far. A $40,000 reward is being offered for any information on Elijah's whereabouts. We will continue to bring you updates. And we are.
They said they had that earlier in the investigation. Why would they only release that information now? Why would they not tell us that weeks ago? That is very strange. It's like they kept that information for when they felt like the community's like spirit was down, and then when they needed a boost, they were like, "We'll release the blanket information. That'll get everyone involved again." And now that they've released it, it's given them a spike of publicity. Hey, to Journey to Justice. I don't know. Yeah, they kept that very quiet. If they have the blanket, you'd think Elijah might be nearby unless it was dumped out the window of a car on the way to get rid of him, so to speak. Because that's interesting. because the location where they found the blanket, he ain't gonna be there anymore a month later. So, that's interesting. Trying to see if there's any was there an update today, like a press conference? Come on. No, it's not been 2 weeks. It's been a lot longer than that. Let's try a local paper.
New clue in the search for 3-year-old Elijah Vu. Two Rivers police confirm searchers found a red and white plaid blanket that belonged to Elijah. They found that blanket earlier in the investigation. The news today is that they confirmed the blanket is his. Investigators say they found it on a rural road 3.7 miles from the apartment where Elijah was reported missing. Tonight, there is still no sign of the boy. This week marks 1 month since he disappeared. Elijah Vu's mother, Katrina Bauer, and her boyfriend, Jesse Vang.
I think we can figure out a lot from that. I think we obviously know what happened to Elijah. They obviously killed him and they've dumped him somewhere. Obviously threw that plaid blanket out of the window of the car on the way to dumping his remains. I just have a feeling that's exactly what happened. Because 3.7 miles from where Elijah was reported missing, he can't walk that far. He's a little kid, and someone would have seen him before he got a mile. Someone would have easily seen Elijah on the side of the road and called the cops, or a cop would have seen him and stopped. It's happened before. Um, yeah, I think they just got to figure out where that car went after the blanket. And I think that's what they got to try and figure out. That's probably why they're still looking for people asking where that car was. That car that they have in their custody, that rusted one. That's probably why they're asking for video of it, or if someone saw it, to call in, like, where did you see it? Because they want more clues into where Elijah might be. Oh no, that's no good. That's not fun. Yeah, I'm surprised they just released that info as well. I don't get it. That's really. I wonder if it's just a boost though. Like they want to boost the um because there's been so many other cases like Riley and Sebastian and a couple of others that they're worried that people are losing focus on Elijah. So if they release like some sort of little bit of evidence, they can get everyone's like involvement back in and higher. That's what I just have a feeling that's what that is about. Um, yeah, because if they've had that for a long time, why not? I mean, they said they only confirmed today that it was Elijah's, but I mean, how many times do you think the same blanket in exactly the same colors and the same dimensions would be found? Jojo says yes, after Laurie, they don't immediately talk. I think what else could it be? Yeah. Yeah, was the shoe, did the shoe end up being his or no? That dinosaur shoe? I know, it's weird that they have the car too. It's almost like they have everything but Elijah. Like they know what happened and they know how it happened, but they don't have Elijah because they don't know where they went. Do you know what I mean? Like they know exactly probably what happened to Elijah. They know he was taken somewhere, but they just don't know where because the car's very old. It doesn't have tracking inside of it, and the people involved are not giving up the information to police. That's why they keep asking, like, did you see that car? Is it on your dash cam? Is it on your CCTV? Because they need clues on where it went. And they might only have a couple of sightings of it. And it's not enough for them to narrow down a search area. I think they said at the side of a road, at the side of a rural road, 3.7 miles from where Elijah was last seen. Let me see if I can find something else on it. Uh, blanket found is Elijah's.
Tonight with a new clue in the search for a 3-year-old Elijah Vu. Tomorrow marks 1 month since the boy was reported missing in Manitowoc County. And today, investigators revealed they discovered a blanket that belongs to Elijah. This news led to a new search in Two Rivers in the area where he was found, or where that blanket was found. New at 10, Kaylee Starl talked to a search leader.
Just about a week after Elijah Vu went missing, a neighbor here tells me police found something near County Highway B in Manitowoc County. Today, we came back after police said in a press release it was Elijah's blanket. That's where we found people back on the search saying this is a sign of hope.
It said there was a blanket found.
That blanket belonging to 3-year-old Elijah Vu, the first confirmed clue after he went missing nearly a month ago.
I think it's a sign of hope to find him around here, and I think he's going to be close to this area.
Dustin Wright was one of several people searching the area after police confirmed they found Vu's blanket early in their investigation on Goodwin Road, east of Highway County B. That's nearly 4 miles from where he was reported missing.
I was taken aback that it was found this close into the city.
Lori Hamblin has been one of the volunteers helping to search from the beginning.
We have done quite a few of the areas right around here. I believe that there was groups that were assigned out here just like a couple weeks ago.
I spoke with a man who lives in the area. He tells me off camera, officials like the Manitowoc County Sheriff have done several searches in the area. However, this new update is encouraging Lori and others to continue their efforts.
Relooking at our maps and possibly redesignating areas as more important to cover.
As they come together, they tell me the blanket is a sign of hope.
This is Wisconsin's toddler now. Everybody in Wisconsin is pretty much taking this toddler under their wing, and we want to just envelope him with protection and get him back where he belongs.
Keep searching. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up hope on a little child.
In Manitowoc County, Kaylee Starl, TMJ4 News.
Elijah's mother and her boyfriend are both in jail, charged with child neglect.
There you go. That was a bit more, insightful. We can see this. Let me mute it. So this is the area where they found the blanket. You can see it's quite flat and wide. If there was a child's body out here, cadaver dogs probably would have found it by now. So if this was only a stopping off point to disposing of Elijah, well, where did they go? And I think that's what they're struggling with. Because this is very flat and open. You would think they would be able to find if he was there. Because it doesn't look like it's difficult search terrain. It looks fairly open. Although behind her is some wooded area. You can see in that top right corner, and behind her, it does get a little more scrublandy at the back there. So maybe there is a bit more difficult terrain at the back. You can see, look, it's just short grass. It's been cut at some point. So there you go. Reported missing, and then that's where they found the blanket. So quite a distance, 3.7 miles away. He was reported missing in Two Rivers. He was reported, the blanket was found over here. Not near the highway. Not near the big US 43 highway at all. And you can see actually all out here is quite rural. You can see all these farmland outside of you can see where the city areas are with built up housing. This is all, green pastures and farmland and rural type area out here. Maybe they're going to go further out into the, greenery. Maybe. Surprised they didn't catch the car on like a traffic camera or, a toll or local gas station, something like that. But so far, nothing, unfortunately. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, there you go. There is quite a lot of wooded area down the back. this location, it just feels to me like they were driving along here and they just dumped it out the window because they knew it would be evidence. And they were just like, just get rid of it, just throw it out the window. And they just knew that, you know, if they had it on them, it would be evidence. Here's a bit more of another search area. No, don't do that. There we go. Another lady searching through the area. What does she say?
Their wing, and
Oh,
it was
she's the
just
lady who said, he's part of our children now. All right. All right. All right. I think we're going to wrap up. It's a very quiet night tonight. It's about 40 minutes, 50 minutes. I think that'll do for tonight. We might have to do more tomorrow night. So, yeah, nothing out there. It's a pretty blank area. Jojo says one of them will talk. If the mum knows what happened, she will tell when she finds out she's never getting out. Maybe the first one to roll will get the best deal in any charges. It looks like it was found on this side of the road. Very, like a drainage ditch. It's good to see you, Lux. I hope you and your bunnies are doing well. Hope they're feeling a little bit better. Yeah, I think we'll go for the night. But I love you all. Thank you for supporting the channel. It is much appreciated. And then I don't think we have anything on Riley. We were gonna look at it, but I don't think Oh, there's a couple of little things, but I can keep that for tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, we can do that tomorrow. Yeah, there is information that the Cajun Navy might be helping the family get another search going in the coming days. That'll be really good. There's a rumor going around online that they think Riley may have got into a car, like an Uber, but it wasn't an Uber, it was just some person. I don't know. Maybe that's why they haven't found him, but would need more information. More information on if that is a possibility or not. So, April says, hopefully they find him before everything starts growing for spring and summer. Definitely before the summer. Diamond Heart, have a great night, everyone. Yes, I love you guys. Thank you for being a part of this channel. I appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully tomorrow we'll get all the news on Riley, Sebastian, Elijah, the kid missing out of Corpus Christi. That would be great. All of them found tomorrow. That's what we can hope for, right? Tomorrow's a new day for true crime, and maybe we'll get answers. That's all we can hope for in true crime, is that we finally get answers. And for the family, justice. So good night, everyone. I'm sorry it was a late one tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, for your, what day is it? Tuesday night. A Tuesday night show of Nights with Ping. So see you later. I gotta redo the ending video. I'll do that tonight. I'll add all the names over the last few days as well. So I appreciate all the people who support the channel. Good night, everyone. See you later. Bye bye.